Right, Inga.
Kick-ups with ducks.
Kick-ups with ducks, it's a new thing. Right, Rory, as you know, I'm going on holiday next week.
Very jealous.
Gutted. So what better way for me to depart than a little argument? I think it worked out quite nicely last time. I think the people liked it. Let's have another one.
Yeah, let's have another one. I think that the big issue of this week has been Ruben Loftus-Cheek suggesting that he could play slightly further forward. Some people are in agreement, some people aren't. We're not going to tell you how we feel, but we're going to have a debate. We're going to flick a coin, find out who has to argue what point, and you guys decide who you think has won. So comment below, let us know who makes the most convincing argument.
All right, so here's the coin. The argument is, should Ruben carry on as a midfielder or become a second striker? We're going to flip the coin. If you win the toss, you get to choose which argument you're going to take. I'm not doing that again.
Right, go.
Right, okay. Here we go.
Tails.
Heads it is, yes.
Okay, right, you call it.
Okay, so I won the toss, and I'm going to go for Ruben should be a second striker.
I was going to do that.
Controversial, but hear me out. The first reason I'm going to put forward for this one is that the player himself has expressed a desire to play in a more attacking role. Read the papers today, he said, he sat down with Conte. Conte said to him, I see you as a more attacking player, potentially playing as a second striker. And Ruben, he's not scared by that. He wants to take that challenge on. And for that reason, I think if you're up for it, go for it.
Good point. Interesting. I would counter that by saying that he is a natural midfield player. He's been playing central midfield probably since he was 7 years old. You don't just undermine all those years of grounding and all those foundations by simply throwing that on the fire and starting again. I think that we have to acknowledge the player that he has been for such a long time, and that is his natural position. I think that a lot of his brilliance, a lot of the things that we've seen him do so well, all stems from the fact that he plays that position. So, for example, his goal scoring, he has such a good record at goal scoring. You know, I've cast my mind back to the goal he scored away at Villa last year. It's his late arrival into the box that allows him to do that. And you can only have that late arrival by playing midfield. If you're playing as a second striker, the centre-half's going to be on you. You're not going to have that freedom and that liberty to time your run to perfection the way that he does.
Mate, you just brought up goal scoring. That's exactly what I'm talking about. He's already got an eye for a goal. We know that. So why don't we play him a little bit further up the field so he can, crack on and make the most of that natural talent he's already got. Gary Lineker was a goal scorer. You didn't play him deep, did you? Did you?
I didn't. This is getting a bit ridiculous now. Throwing Gary Lineker out there is just nonsense. I think the thing that we have to remember here, is that Ruben Loftus-Cheek is the archetypal midfielder. He is the next Michael Ballack. He is going to be a box-to-box midfielder who can control the tempo of the game. And I think we all agree that games are generally won and lost in the midfield. So if you push him too far forward, he's not going to be able to impact the game the way that we know he can. He can completely control a game. He is the type of player who can take the game by the scruff of the neck and drag Chelsea to victory. He's not going to be able to do that too far up the pitch.
I'm suggesting he can, because I think we've got the players...
Interrupting.
I know this is not allowed. However, we've got the play. I'm talking about game time, yeah? We've got the players in the middle. We've just signed Kante. We've got Fabregas. We've got, a solid base of central midfielders. I think Ruben's going to struggle to make it into the starting 11 unless we find a new position for him. And for me, and Conte, and great minds do think alike, we're thinking about pushing him up front.
The trouble with that one is, I'm just going to come back very quickly because you interrupted me, so I'm going to change the rules now. The trouble with that one, the trouble with that one is, if Kante and Fabregas are probably going to be our starting midfield pairing. I agree with that. But if this season goes as we want it to go, Chelsea are going to play in excess of 50 games. Yep. So they're all going to get game time. They're all going to get the chance to play that central midfield position. And you don't want Loftus-Cheek, who is hopefully in our team for the next decade, to have had a season playing out of position. You want him.
He's young enough to learn new trades.
Nonsense. You call it. Who won this one?
He's not an old dog that can't be taught a new trick.
Ridiculous.
Full stop. Winner.
Not winner.
Look, Rory, I'm not a madman. I can appreciate Loftus-Cheek as a fantastic midfielder. Yeah? He's got so many great attributes to his game. However, if I had to pinpoint one of his not so great attributes potentially, it would be his defensive play. My suggestion is he's not naturally defensively minded. He's a lot more confident when he's got the ball, when he's running at people, when he's starting off attacks, when he's spraying a ball for an on-running winger or a centre forward. And I think we've got enough players in our squad, basically, that can cover that defensive midfield duty, and I think we can unshackle him and release him further up the pitch.
It's nonsense, isn't it? It's a good point, well made, but it's nonsense, and I'll tell you for why. The reason that it's nonsense is because England just went over to France and won that Toulon tournament.
Yeah.
Ruben Loftus-Cheek won Player of the Tournament.
Yes.
He's Player of the Tournament at an international tournament. So that means of all of his peers, he won Player of the Tournament.
He was the best
From
midfielder in that
central midfield.
in that England team.
So, of the whole tournament.
Best
No, of the
central midfielder in the
tournament.
Chelsea team.
Best central midfielder of his generation at this tournament.
Yeah.
Therefore, I think it's fair to say that if he'd gone to that tournament as a second striker, he probably wouldn't have won that accolade.
Okay.
So what you're doing is you're taking a brilliant
It's a good
midfielder.
point you're making.
You're taking a brilliant midfielder, and you're trying to create him. You don't need to fix it. It's not broken. It's brilliantly made.
You're right. God had a good day when he made Loftus. We know that, yeah? We all know that. However, what you're doing, Rory, is you're putting your blinkers on and you're just like, you're not being imaginative enough. And I'll tell you what would happen if people out there were as unimaginative as you are right now. There would be no such thing as the current Cristiano Ronaldo. Because when he broke through, when he was a young man, when he was Ruben's age, he was known as a midfielder, he was a right winger, he was a right midfielder, whatever you want to call it. Later on in his career, when some visionaries got hold of him, they thought, hang on a minute.
Like you?
Yeah, like me. Hang on a minute, you're really good at this, Cristiano, and I can see a potential for you. So what they did was, they moved him out of midfield, they moved him into the danger area, and the next thing you know, he's breaking all records for his goal scoring exploits. I rest my case, there's the door.
You can't
Throw
be
yourself
that.
out
You
of
can't just interrupt my segment and then rest your case. I think that you've picked an example, you've cherry-picked an example that makes your point valid.
Brilliant.
But yeah. I'm sure that there's countless examples that would completely undermine that.
Go on then, name one.
Well, I can think of countless. I can think of situations where people have been played out of position and it's massively backfired. I can think of Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank playing on the wing against Monaco.
Well, that is ridiculous.
No, but it's a visionary. It's a visionary.
No, that's the opposite.
Playing
of a
Jimmy
visionary.
Floyd Hasselbank on the wing.
Playing Jimmy and his.
Why don't we just play Zola at right back
on the wing?
Where do we draw the line here?
You draw the line with a astute footballing brain. Some of us have it, some of us don't.
What an idiot.
So there you have it. That was our argument. I feel like we both put some fairly solid points forward. As ever, it's up to you to agree. Let us know in the comments below which one of us you agree with.
You're off on holiday now, aren't you?
I am, yeah.
Nice. Enjoy.
I'm not going to Spain, mate. Do you know what? Can we cut?
Yeah. When you say that, we're cutting, yeah.
Hello everybody and welcome to Chelsea Fans Channel. Now, as you all know, we need another striker, and although there's lots of rumours going about, the one that's getting the most traction at the moment is Gabriel Barbosa from Santos.